What are we talking about? Let's just get it started.
All right.
You do your introduction. Maybe we should do like movie reviews too more often.
I think so.
I kind of like that.
All right, all right. Let's do this. Let's make this the 8BG movie review podcast or movie discussion podcast.
Or just this episode is a movie discussion. Yeah, whatever.
What movie are we discussing?
Are you gonna do an intro first? Are you gonna introduce who we are?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 8BG with your hosts Steve and
Sterling. Or Major No Fun, whatever. Do we use our tag names or just?
I like our names. It's
okay.
Short and sweet.
Regular names. We'll be regular people. We're not going to be like people. The internet, right? If they're
like all those cool,
right.
Ego Raptor. I don't have a cool handle anyway.
No, you don't. Mervillous is not cool. Actually, I think Mervillous is actually really cool.
But it's funny. It's
better than Shadow Merv.
Listen, I'll tell you this: Mervillous is an actual last name.
I know
that's not the intention I ever wanted. I thought I wanted it to be a play on Marvelous.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
You know what happens when I spelled it with the Merv? It just looks so off to me. So
but I don't know. I liked it since your last name is Merville and you're just Merv. I think it's great. Personally, I think it's great.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
All the other shit you come up with is just awful. But that was that
Listen,
one was.
But the shadow does have a reason why it's there.
I don't care. I don't care the story behind it.
There's a history behind it.
Terrible.
So it's not some random cool. What do you call it? Like
it sounds like it though. Evil.
You know what's funny? All right. You know what's the most edgelord name I ever had at one point and I had to change it?
What?
So I changed my name to Shadow Machine on Xbox, and let me tell you, this is around when Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out. Modern Warfare 2 came out.
That sounds like it.
I remember someone called me out on the the group chat, like after the match is over, someone's reading out all the usernames, and it's like Shadow Machine. Oh my god. I forgot what he said, but whatever he said was pretty much
an emo name.
Like what an emo name. And I was like, you know what? This is really bad. Let me change it back to good old Shadow Mervillous.
Like you're going through something. You're going through some rough times there. Let me close my door.
But let's get right into it. The movie we are discussing.
For once, I went to go see a movie right when it came out instead of waiting till like no one would go see it. And I think I liked it because I went to the movie theater, the Alamo, in Brooklyn. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Did we let them know what movie we're talking about?
No.
All right, I think that would probably be a good idea.
They'll know about a title if they click on it. But anyway, we're talking about Joker, just in case anybody didn't know. But I went to. I think I'm gonna go to this movie theater more often, just because it's a little pricey, but I like how spacious it is, so you don't feel cramped. Even if it's very crowded. I've
been there before.
It's in this big complex. It's on the top floor, and it's near Atlantic Terminal. Anyway,
you know what? I was actually gonna go there. I think 2 years. I think I've been there before at least once, but I think I was gonna go there because they were showing. They have like some weird shows.
Yeah, they have some old classic movies and stuff they show, or weird I think I'm gonna go check out some movies there. Because
one time they were showing Ultraman. The recent Ultramans over there. And I wanted to see it, but then I think at that point I went to work and I was just so tired that I was just like I'm not gonna make it. But I think they have some pretty niche stuff over there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go try to see that. But anyway, let's go talk about Joker.
All right. So what was your impressions? So all right, let's go ahead and talk about.
I don't know how do you start this?
I mean, you saw it first, so I'll let you talk.
Do I talk about what I thought of it?
Yeah. We'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was overhyped. When I usually check out all sorts of reviews on things before seeing it, so I'm not one of those people that just blind. Like I kind of look at stuff before I go spend money on it, right? I don't necessarily take what people say as gospel, but I definitely take into consideration, is this movie good? Is this movie bad? So most of the praise for this movie, because it debuted like somewhere overseas like 2 months earlier or something, it was just 10 out of 10, 5 stars. It was like movie of the year. This guy's gonna get, Joaquin Phoenix is gonna get an Oscar, and this, that, and the third. So I was like, I'm glad it didn't turn out to be like a shit show. How like DC movies sometimes, Suicide Squad or something. I'm glad it didn't turn, or like Venom was kind of whatever. So
I actually like Venom.
You would. So I didn't actually. I'm not even gonna say I haven't seen it, but I just heard people really didn't like it.
Yeah, it's not as bad. I think people made Venom out to be worse than it really was. Like, it's not the best movie in the world, but it's bearable.
I think I have it actually on some service, so I think I'm gonna watch it. But anyway, so I went into this movie I guess with really high expectations because of all that, which might have soured it a little bit for me. So my overall impressions were that I think it's a good movie. I think it's a fine movie. I just don't think that it is 10 out of 10 movie. I don't think it's the greatest movie of the year. I don't think it's, and we'll get into why. Before I get into it, what did you think about it?
What did I think about it? I thought the movie was good. Honestly, before I saw the movie, I didn't have any expectations for it. Because I'm not like crazy about the Joker or anything. I can appreciate the character. I'll go into this with like an open mind and just check it out. And I was actually impressed. Like, I thought artistically it looked very nice. There's a lot of great shots. Like, I would say those stairs where Joker does a lot of his walking and dancing are, to me, kind of made the movie iconic a little bit. Like, it gave it like this feel where, I actually had to look up those stairs because for some reason the way the movie was showing it, they just look so impressive that I'm just like, okay, I want to see where these stairs are at. So I think artistically it is very well done. Like, it's a lot of care and a lot of thought put into certain things. I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a great job as the Joker. Like, he was so crazy and unhinged that he actually made Heath Ledger's Joker look like look sane almost. You know what I mean? Like, he looked more put together than his Joker. And there are things that I do like about the movie where they planted certain seeds that haven't been, as far as I know, that haven't been touched in the Batman universe before. So which I liked. I appreciate that a lot. Like, there's a lot of different things that make you think. And I liked a lot of the gotcha moments in the movie because I don't know if you'll talk about it now, but Zazie Beetz. You want to talk about that now, or
wait, before we get into spoilers.
Okay, so let me just tell you how I felt overall, and then we'll get into like some of the deeper stuff. But I thought it was a good movie. Is it a 10 out of 10 like you said? For me, it's not. It's
like
not
I read. I didn't say.
Yeah, but everyone's giving 10 out of 10. But I think most of those people probably giving it out of 10 out of 10 because of the way it's artistically pleasing. But I felt like towards the end, while it was a good movie, I felt like it was just missing something else. Like, there's something else that it needed more.
Right.
In my opinion, like, I felt like, okay, it was good, but you thought that the message would be hammered a little bit stronger. But I think maybe that's what's good about the movie is that it's very subtle about everything it does. So maybe in the beginning, I think it deserves another watching. I think I need to watch it again, and maybe I might see something that I didn't see before.
Right.
But I thought it was good. I think you should. I think you should watch it, especially if you're a fan of the Joker or just an interesting film. I think it deserves to be watched. So, but not the greatest movie of all time.
my thing about it was I would say that it was entertaining. Mm-hmm. It was very well shot, very well edited. The acting, it's mostly Joaquin Phoenix the whole time. Like, he's almost in every other scene. There's no
it's parts, like a one-man show,
right? There's no parts of the movie where he's kind of like not in it. He's in everything. Mm-hmm. So it's a phenomenal job by him. Like, his laugh is quite possibly the best, creepiest thing, and it's a big part of the movie. His laugh.
And you know what I like about his laugh though? I like how it was induced by
spoilers.
Oh yes.
Are we getting into that? Spoilers. All right, spoilers. Let's go.
Because we can't have a conversation.
No, you could, but if we're gonna do a whole, I guess we're gonna do a whole thing about it. Yeah. So spoilers, people.
Spoiler alert. So
we're just gonna get all into it now. So go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So, I liked how his laugh was kind of induced by like the trauma he had in his life, or like about I think it was like I don't know if it was like something medically induced or something like that.
Well,
but it was like something.
It's a condition, so then it might not even be medically.
A behavioral condition. I like how it was a behavioral condition where he couldn't control it, and it caused him pain to laugh. You know, and it was.
It's that was a weird, interesting thing about that, the laughter, because the laughter seemed to be. It didn't seem so random. Like they try to, like sometimes you're like, if you have like a Tourette's syndrome, right? You just kind of will blurt out things after what I would think is random. I don't know I don't know it how it works by heart, but or sometimes some people have tics randomly. Like it seemed like his laughter kind of came at spots of uncomfortableness or something. Like when he got told some bad news or something, then his laughter would kind of start. Like when he went to have the scene when he had to go see his boss. So he's walking in between that shot and he just starts laughing before he gets to his boss. Or
it's a nervous tick.
Right. Or it almost seemed like, when that lady told him on the bus to stop playing with his son, and he kind of, and then he started laughing there. Or the train thing. I think these were moments where he was kind of on the spotlight in the comedy club.
Exactly.
And he starts laughing, So I think it was a nervous, kind of like a nervous tick.
But I like how they did that, because it wasn't just like he's just laughing because he's evil or he's just having fun. It's because he can't control it, And it's like it's a different take that I haven't seen before that I found very interesting.
But more about the laughter, not story wise, but acting wise. His laughter was so creepy. Like it made me like in a good way. It made me uncomfortable. Like at times when he would laugh. Like it just gave me a feeling of uneasiness of his laughter. Like I don't know how you laugh like that. Like I think that was just something that he brought to the character. That the other Jokers to me were always crazy, but his laughter made me very uncomfortable.
His laughter, especially after what's his name? Who was the last Joker?
Heath Ledger.
I know we say Heath Ledger, but there's some another
the TV
guy.
one.
Suicide.
I didn't. Oh,
Suicide Squad.
Oh, sorry.
Jared Leto. There you
Yo,
go.
that's how bad.
I knew there's another one. Okay, I know.
That's how bad that is.
I feel bad for Jared Leto because I don't feel bad, but I'm like his Joker was just so forgettable that people just go straight to Heath Ledger's Joker.
It was just overdone,
And his laughter was just like so weird, like But this guy was laughing so hard. I can't imitate his laugh because it's so.
Oh, it is Justin. Welcome.
Oh,
hello.
So we've already gotten to our opinions on the movie, but real quick, just drop your opinion on it. So far, me and Steve is pretty good on it, pretty high on it, but like he's like 8 or 9 out of 10, right? I would say you would say like a 9.
Something like that. Like it's a good movie.
I'm about a 7 to 8. I think it's good. And what are you on this, Justin?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
You give it a 9 out of 10. Is it closer to a 10 out of 10 or is it closer to a 9?
No, it's a solid 9.
It's a solid 9. Okay. So we're getting into right now we're getting into what we this is Justin, by the way, podcast world.
The ProBot.
The ProBot. So we are getting into I think the things we liked about it.
His laughter.
Yeah, so we talked about his laughter. What do you think about his laughter in the movie? I think, which is a big part.
I thought it was great. I mean, part of it was a bias because you're so used to where you're very familiar with Heath Ledger's.
Oh wait,
or even Mark Hamill's.
So
which is like they're both extremely iconic. I don't think you'll ever get a better Joker laugh than either Mark Hamill or Heath Ledger's. But what he did was he put his own spin on it, which is what he should do. I think it was good. I think it fit.
And so, spinning off of that, Steve said, the last Joker, and I said Heath Ledger, and I completely forgot that Jared Leto was.
Wait. There's one more guy.
Jared Leto doesn't count.
And there's another Joker kind of too
count.
on the.
There was also who was the Joker in the original.
Are you talking about Gotham?
Shoot.
I mean, that wasn't Joker. I think I think he was
Caesar. You're talking about that guy or the older
Caesar Romano
in the original?
Maybe it was Caesar Romano,
like in the '60s. That Batman.
Maybe
that's who it was. It was Caesar Romano. I guess Caesar somebody.
Yeah, something. Oh no, it was Caesar.
It was Caesar somebody. So, but anyway, back to the Joker. Yeah, I personally, like I said before,
Jack Nicholson.
Oh no, well, that's definitely the '90s Batman. That's definitely not the '60s. Wait, was that '90s or was that like '89?
1989. I mean, you know,
yeah, okay, so it was pretty much
'90s.
So, yeah, no, I thought his laughter was like I didn't call it great, but it was great in the way it felt so uncomfortable when he laughed.
Yeah,
which was the whole thing about his character, right? Everything just felt uncomfortable. It felt
everything
dark.
I like how they added in the. Now I'm not sure if this was part of the Joker's character as a whole, but the fact that they added the condition, his mental condition, where it's almost like a Tourette, like a tic, where he can't control it. He cannot control his laughter.
Yeah, we said. I said that. Steve liked that. I said I thought
it was good spin because it was just like, you know, it's not just coming out of like, you know, having fun with his situation. He can't control it, and it causes him pain because he's like literally like.
But you know, it's funny. It's very interesting the difference between like I feel like the big contrast here is between Heath Ledger and
well, you know what? We should save the comparison.
We're gonna save that for later. We're just gonna focus.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the laugh.
Movie.
I'm just talking about the laugh between them. And I think whereas as Heath Ledger's was more of a controlled laugh.
But Heath Ledger's character really wasn't like laughy. Like he
wasn't.
He only had one laugh in the beginning when he came into the thing. But we'll get into that portion. I just want to.
I think the other great laugh too. I don't want to. We'll go to your point. But I think the other great laugh too is the scene in The Dark Knight where Batman is in the not the cell, but in the interrogation room behind the Joker, and then he says,
and he gets beat.
He gets beaten, and then he does that laugh, and he says, I don't want to kill you. He's like, what would I do without you?
Right.
that was a great moment. But all right, go on to your point.
But back to Joker. The idea, like, to me, so. What else do you guys think really worked? What worked for you guys in this movie?
I'll tell you this. One of the things I loved about the movie was a lot of the new stuff they brought to the mythos, like the possibility of Joker being a half brother of Batman. Because, during the movie, Joker's mom was alluding, was saying that, wrote a letter that said that, I forgot what the letter said, but basically they're implying that Thomas Wayne and Joker's mother had a thing, and that Joker is Thomas Wayne's son.
Right.
And it's so brilliant, and to think that Batman and Joker are brothers, and they're like two people, like they're like what's that term? Two sides of the same coin. And I just love that kind of.
It was an interesting plot twist. I mean, were it to be true, that'd be really crazy. But
exactly.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. It may not be true or it may be true, and that's the thing that I love about the movie. It doesn't let you know whether it's true or not, because it's a possibility that she's probably crazy, or it's a possibility that it's true.
But I love that. Here's what I don't like about that.
Here's the other thing. How about this for a plot twist? Suppose that he's just crazy enough to envision her being crazy when she's not really crazy, and he actually is.
Who are you talking about?
The Joker.
See,
the mother,
because part of his psychosis was that he was delusional, but you didn't know he was delusional, and he was in a lot of these events that had transpired, like the woman going to the comedy club, or him having this kind of very platonic relationship with some woman. That was all created. That wasn't real. So then, who's to say that his whole experience in dealing with his mother, that wasn't also a byproduct of his psychosis?
Could be.
That could be. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, on a different point about what you guys said about that twist, I feel like the reason I didn't really care for that so much is, like you said, like I like how the movie, you said the movie didn't really tell us certain things, and I feel like that was an instant of it trying. I don't know. For me, I felt like it trying too hard. Where I didn't feel like. That to me, Well, I think it not telling us is the whole. Like, I almost felt like some of that is forced. Like, I think if it was,
but I think it's great because with the movie, what it does is that it creates these scenarios where it makes you think as a viewer, like, could it happen?
You know what's funny about that? I feel like if that was not in the movie, it wouldn't have changed the experience for me at all.
And it did it too much. It did that with the experience. It did that with the did he kill the girl or not? Right? Like,
but you know what helps it out too? It helps the fact that Thomas Wayne wasn't the perfect person, because in every incarnation we have of Batman, Thomas Wayne was like this
stand-up
guy. He's like the bastion of goodness.
But we also have to look at
this one. He was kind of like, he's kind of a little of a jerk. Like, he punched him in the face when Joker came up to him in the bathroom, thinking that saying that he could be his father and everything. And he wasn't, a great guy. He wasn't like this ultimate goodness, and I think it kind of leaves room for perfect decisions.
You also have to take into the fact that we have an unreliable narrator. So so I'm not saying Thomas Wayne was, but if we can't go by strictly our Joker perspective.
But here's the thing, though. It can be either 50-50. So there we, so it's like.
But you have an unreliable narrator, so you can't.
Course, yeah, I realize that. Yeah, definitely.
So to me, anything I feel like you have to lean towards you can't trust anything you see from the narration necessarily,
right?
Instead of more so that it could be true. I think the fact that we don't know what's true, like, I don't think you can take anything, like everything you see from his point of view, you have to take with a grain of salt. I know it would make the movie irrelevant if you just thought everything was false, but like, I just think that, to me, there was too many moments of what really happened, instead of the movie. Like, I don't want to get into the bad points yet that I'm feeling. So let's see what else
did we enjoy about the movie. The fact that they humanized him. Now, putting aside, let's just take everything that to what you said earlier. Let's just put aside the whole fact that everything's a lie and it's not real, but his whole arc, from when you see him progress and go down that path, more so the things that happen to him, where these things are relatable experiences that everybody can kind of relate to. You've had a shitty day and it just seems like one after another in a different string of events, and he just kind of reaches a point where he snaps, and you understand that you can kind of what he does afterwards. You don't obviously it's not right, but you can kind of empathize in his feeling in getting to that point.
Yeah, where
it makes him more human. Where you go, yeah, I can understand how someone would just snap under all these ridiculous circumstances when life throws shit at you like this. I get that. And on top of all of the things that he's dealing with mentally, this is something that's plausible. So you can see how that character develops and how he manifests into the Joker at a point. I just wanted to see more of
the Joker, the chaos.
Like, right, that's we'll later on.
All right, yeah.
What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Steve.
You can go ahead.
What did you say, Justin? I forgot.
Well, I'll say this. I'm glad that nice. How you said
I forgot what we were focusing on. That's what
the movie. What I talked about was how it humanized.
Okay, yeah.
Where you can
I feel like in the beginning
that he went through.
I feel like in the beginning they were doing that, but I felt like as time went on, you felt less sorry for him.
No, I think they were pretty consistent. I felt like in the beginning it was more, and then as time went on, it was just like, okay. I feel throughout the entire thing it was consistent. Where
consistent
it's not like,
with what?
Consistent, like, where it's not as if it started off with small things. Like, it's not like, he lost his keys, and then the last straw was like, his mother. Like, I feel like the level of consistency between him getting jumped, losing his job, all this shit happening, the guys beating up on him, the fact that he's dealing with this psychosis and he can't control his laughter, and people are thinking that he's laughing at them when he's really not. In his whole mental issue, all these different things. It's not like they were like, spiking up and down throughout the entire movie. I felt like they were pretty consistent, and there was a constant buildup of events that led to that culmination of when he just snapped. I felt that whole thing was just like a roller coaster ride straight up to the top. Like, it wasn't like, dips and weaves. It was just a straight shot up. So I felt it built relatively relatively well.
I see, to add to that point, like I see where you're coming from, and I'm not saying that whatever he went through was like losing keys. So of course, things like getting beat up, losing your job, and all these things, and also having most likely a mental condition.
Right, but it's not like the things. It's not like these things were outside of his control. It's not like these are things that he. It's not like he was looking to get beat up, or he was looking to get fired, or he was. These are things that just they happened to him. Do you know? You know what I mean?
But what I was trying to say is that I felt like in the beginning, they just I would say justify it, but that you saw you could kind of empathize about why he would end up doing and start doing that. But it's like as soon as he killed his as soon as he got his first kill, that's when he kind of started unhinging more and more. And I felt like as time went out in the movie, even though he went through all this stuff, at some point you just you didn't like sympathize with him anymore. You were just like, okay, this guy is truly.
No, I don't know. Because you know what? I feel like when he was that scene was a very pivotal scene for me. That was when the whole movie changed. When he was on that train, he was getting and he didn't want to laugh, but he couldn't help it. But the guys thought that he was mocking. He was laughing at them. He was mocking them. Just and they were beating him up. They were beating him up. And, and when he defended himself, and he shot and killed that guy. I'm sure he didn't intend to kill the guy.
I mean, you have a gun. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have a gun. You shoot.
Right,
you somebody. You tend to kill.
Well, not always.
He killed the guy. Like, even on the stairs, he shot. I think he shot the guy twice.
Right, but what I'm saying is the first guy that he shot and killed. After he shot and killed that guy, and you could see the shift in power, where he then realized, now he's in control. He's the one that has the ability to get back at all these people. He's the one that has the ability to kind of, administer his own sense of,
Exactly, but at that point, as it shifts, then the sympathy kind of goes away a little bit because now he's just like
not really
because now he wants chaos. So. He wants he becomes this unhinged person where he can just kill anybody at will. Just
right, and that's kind of what you want to see from the Joker.
Of course, I'm not saying we don't want to see that. But, I mean, of course, that's what we're going to see because he's not a good guy; he's a bad guy. But I feel like in the movie, in the beginning, you felt like you empathize with him, with the little stuff, losing a job. That's what we can relate with. Getting beat up.
What should he have done in your opinion?
I'm not saying he should have done anything, but I'm just saying the movie makes it.
But no, I'm just saying
less as the movie goes on. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I'm just saying in that particular moment, what should he have done to keep in line with your version of the consistency in his character? Because I felt that.
I think we're talking about two different things.
Yeah, I think you both are talking. He's not talking about what. He's not talking about like
it's consistent. I'm talking about whether or not we emphasize him as a character. Because you watch a movie, and a lot of times, the writers or whoever creates the movie wants us to feel for the character. And I feel like in the beginning we kind of did feel for him, but as time went on, you kind of like distance yourself away from him because you start doing all these evil things that kind of in a way becomes unjustified. And it kind of becomes creepy. Okay. For example, when you saw when Zazie Beetz, he's like having this whole, all these like, things where she's there and everything. And then when he goes into the apartment and he's just down on the couch, you're thinking that she's probably going to come in, talk to him. And she looks at him like a total stranger. And that's when you start realizing this guy is really crazy. And I think at that point we start detaching away from him. At least for me, I started detaching away from him as a, sympathetic character, as someone who's just really losing it.
I actually agree. I agree with Steve because there was a moment. There was moments where I stopped feeling so sorry for him and started being like, "Uh-oh, this guy's scary." And this guy, that's what
he's unhinged.
He's
crazy. Yeah, he's as a murderer. Like no one themselves as like they can be a murderer. Like I think a lot of times, not everybody, but I would say, a good majority of people when they watch a movie, they want to feel like they can make a difference. They can do this. They can do that. With the Joker, you felt from it because in the beginning he got beat up. That's something people can relate to. He lost his job for a little accident. That's something that people can relate to. And he's been in a situation that he didn't want to be in. That's what people can relate to. But then after that situation with the train, then everything starts snowballing into something else. And then as a viewer, for me personally, I looked at it and I'm like, whoa, I don't empathize with him anymore. This guy is just straight up a lunatic, and he's just just wants chaos.
I think when he killed, here's for me what shifted. I get what you're saying. So when he shot the first guy, I was like, whoa, that was, it's like that was the point where kind of you detract from it. He shoots the first guy and kills the first guy. I'm like, all right, maybe he's defending himself. That's that's a bit crazy. He's angry. I get it. And then the second guy, he definitely aggressively goes after that guy and kills him. And the third guy, the way he shoots him and goes after, that's when you begin to kind of
I thought those motherfuckers had it coming.
I did.
When they all died, I didn't care.
I'll tell you this too.
I'm not saying they did it. I'm not saying they did it, but I definitely think that
But you see, the movie makes it away.
He definitely changed from someone who was being a bit more reserved to someone who's reservations are gone.
And also, too, that's my point. You see how the movie kind of frames that scene? Because at first you see a woman minding her business, and then you see these college guys bothering her, harassing her, throwing stuff at her. So I think that they set it up in a way to make that scene more kind of like sympathetic to the Joker side, where you can understand why he would do that. Because after this woman leaves, as a viewer, you look at the woman. As you look at the woman leaving, you understand that these men are being antagonistic.
Of course.
And then after that, they're bothering him. And honestly, the scene where they're like singing and hanging from like the poles or whatever, to me, they look kind of crazy too. Honestly, I thought they were kind of.
I mean, it's so weird because what I just thought about something. Like, not that I'm not you're not doing like a revisionist history of a movie, but there was nothing stopping him from getting up and leaving either. Now I think about it.
That's true.
He could have just got up and left, but he just stayed there. And then I don't know, like maybe he knew. You know what I'm saying? Like
if you even think about it, at the point he probably wanted a reason.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want to use. I mean, they did start beating him up though.
So.
No, they did
but then why wouldn't he just get up and leave? You just like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he got attacked first, though. He got attacked first. So the movie frames that to kind of emphasize him because he got beat up because that wasn't something that he came there for. But then after shooting them, that's when.
I'm saying that. But to me, it's like, she got up and walked away. To me, there's a duality right there. He could have done the same thing, but he didn't. And he he has a laughing fit. I get that, but it's not like he's like a paralyzed fit where he couldn't get up and leave. He could get up and he chose not to. Knowing that these three guys are going to cause trouble. Like, you don't have to be a genius. They never act like his character's dumb or doesn't know any better. He's probably someone that's been picked on a lot and all that. And I don't, like, sometimes even think about the things about, like, the sign. Him running after it and trying to get it back and stuff like that. I'm not saying he shouldn't stick up for himself, but I think because this movie obviously is making a lot of social commentary. Like, that was something that kind of bothered me a little bit about it too, because instead of it just being a movie that has a story to tell, it seems a lot like it was very focused on telling a story about something that everyone can relate to. What I'm saying?
What was some social commentary that you found?
For instance,
commentary where they said it was completely bullshit, but they said they were talking about this movie. This movie addressed racial issues.
I would say it addressed the racial issues. The only thing I saw was that Joker was around a lot of black people. Like, both his therapists were black. He lived in the neighborhood. I mean, he lived
like city jobs.
He just lives in the city. His co-workers were like a mix of white guys, black guys. The city therapist, she was a black woman.
All of his therapists were.
Both therapists.
Yeah, both of them were. But it's like I never got that vibe that this movie addresses any kinds of racial issues whatsoever.
Maybe not racial, but definitely that's a class issue.
And I think the classism is definitely one of the things that probably showing.
This movie addressed class issues. It definitely addressed.
There wasn't like any black.
It addressed the income inequality. So, it definitely addressed mental issues.
Yeah, so let's hit on those points real quick. So this movie addresses gun violence. It addresses
in what way?
Income inequality.
See, that's actually a point you wouldn't think about. All it took was one man with a gun to set off all this craziness. Literally, and how much do we talk about having?
And initially, he didn't even want the gun.
But let's talk about how often do we talk about, like, especially in this country now, the hot topic about mental health and people with guns. People that are crazy shouldn't have access to guns because look what happens. They go do shit like that.
I didn't think of it like that.
Right, you didn't. But that is literally, he had a gun, and it's not like he had a bunch of bullets. he didn't have, I don't know if he got more bullets in the movie, or it seems like he shot six or seven times. Right. So it could have been.
He must have got new bullets because he shot the wall, he shot the people.
Right. So let's say he shot the 3-4 guys, whatever. But this is just one guy with a gun that he got from some other guy. Like, if you want to talk about how people come into possession of guns, it could be something as simple as just that, like there. But whatever the idea is mental health and having a gun. What could happen? So like, and the issue. The funny thing is about like similar to another issue, the Dark Knight, but you see how people react when you kill certain people. So it was a big issue that some crazy guy killed 3 up-and-coming white...
yes. Mm-hmm.
And then that might be a racial thing right there. 3 up-and-coming white stock guys, right? They were like stock market, fresh from the... whatever, college, whatever, I don't know.
They work for a Wayne Enterprise.
Right, there you go. So you kill those guys, and all of a sudden, when you heard people talk about it, people were saying, "Oh yeah, they deserved it." When you talk about the lower income people,
the class issue was when Thomas Wayne got up and said,
and called people clowns.
He called the lower class people clowns, and how he was going to restore order to Gotham, and how he was the only one who could make Gotham prosper again.
It's also that idea where you have one side that says, if you're down in the dumps, it's because you didn't work hard, or because not like.
You're the bootstraps.
Yeah, you have to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and like Martin Luther King says, how can you do that when you don't have any boots?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the movie touches on that. The movie touches on mental health, right? Obviously, with his issues, which I don't think the movie did a very good job of, personally. Like I was telling Justin earlier, like I never felt the decline in his mental health due to the fact that he stopped getting meds, but he's taking 7 meds. You have to have some real crazy stuff if you're on 7 meds, right? And when he stopped getting his meds, or I don't know, they never really made it clear when he stopped taking them or when he ran. No, they made it clear when he ran out, right? Like he didn't. When he got like, it was some.
Yeah, I think it was the last meeting they had, and she's like,
and he's running, and you see him running low on pills at some point.
He asked her about getting stronger dosage.
Mm-hmm. And then he didn't. And she was like, he didn't even get any after all. They just cut everything. Right. They cut the funding. And I feel like he just I feel like there was no necessarily link to him losing his meds and going crazy, or just things happening and that made him go crazy. Like I didn't feel like there was any difference between him on meds or him off of meds. I felt like you throw this bad this situation of what happened to him to anybody, to most people, they'll probably act the same way. Maybe not kill. I don't know. I feel like everybody has a snapping point.
For him, his mental issues coupled with the series of events led to all that shit. Now we've all gone through shit. Maybe we haven't all gotten beaten up and fired in the same day, but I think for someone like him, and they weren't even really clear about what those 7. Whatever his mental illness issues were, aside from
I think they left it vague.
They kind of left it open. They just said he has issues. Where we all kind of knew that from the beginning. But to Sterling's point, you never really kind of saw that whole degradation of him not having those medications. It was just kind of that's how he is. Doesn't have the medication, and that's.
It almost seems like they just threw that out there to make us feel a certain way about how bad this guy. Like that's another thing too. I was like, this is just like the one very unlucky, very sad day of one Mr. Arthur Fleck. Like it was just so many. Like I don't. It was
that could have been the name of the movie. The Very Sad Day of Mr. Arthur Fleck.
You know what? Too. Personally, and I know we've kind of gone off track about it, but personally, I feel like this movie to me would have been a little bit more powerful if it wasn't about the Joker.
Really?
Because I think the Joker. I mean, like I know one thing they were trying to not do is like establish this as a traditional comic book movie. Like they didn't really try to establish too much, like a post-credit scene or like there's gonna be a sequel. There could be.
That's one thing I appreciate about the movie.
Right.
I feel like it could be a standalone movie that's unconnected to anything else. I mean, even though there are elements there, because you have Bruce Wayne, you have Alfred, you have all the elements there, but it it doesn't feel like a traditional Batman movie. Like how we all look at the Dark Knight as like this as the epitome of dark gritty, quote unquote dark gritty movies, right? But Joker is so well realized. The way they make Gotham feel like a 1980s New York, they do it so well that it feels like this is something that could really happen, and it makes the Dark Knight look like kind of like a fantasy land in a way. You know what I mean? Because everything is so gritty and so realistic, and I feel like, and I and sometimes too I think about whether or not I would want to see a sequel to this or just leave it alone.
Honestly, I don't.
I will leave it alone.
Actually, I think they're looking at working on a sequel.
He said he would be open to a sequel, but I hope.
I mean, this movie's making money, so I think
sequel might be inevitable, but
it might be inevitable. But I think sometimes too, you want to keep, you want to say that it's artistic integrity, but sometimes when there's so much money involved, that goes out the window. So we'll see. I think it'll be really hard to create a sequel.
I don't think
to this, because I feel like once you start introducing stuff like Batman,
a good sequel, I agree. I think it will be hard to create a good sequel.
Yeah, because if you introduce Batman, right, then at that point I'm kind of taking out this realistic world, and I think it's a hard rope to kind of walk on.
Personally, I don't see them like where a sequel. Where do you take it, right? Like, do you just have him doing complete? Like, I feel like he's at the point, like, this is an intro story or whatever, but to me, which was done in the very, very great, underrated Lego Batman movie. But they're in that movie, part of the Joker's issue was he needed Batman. Like, he did all this bad stuff just to get Batman's attention. And I almost feel like if this movie were to go on or have a sequel, like, I think Joker kind of needs Batman.
I don't know. I think the only way for this to continue would be for the Joker to really push for the resolution or the.
But that's not.
No. What I'm saying is like his whole big issue is the fact that society has failed. It has failed him and it's failed the people. And they've cast him aside, so there would need to be some kind of like retribution for that.
But that's the thing about it. That's not really
without Batman.
But that's not really the Joker, though. That's not really what his whole thing is. Like, he's not trying to really make a point. These shits happened to him, and he lost it. But to me, he's not out to prove anything.
I think he was.
I
think so. And that's so for me. The last scene where not the last scene, but the scene where he's on the talk show. And he talks about Murray and how Murray disappointed him. Murray let him down
because he played his video and made fun of him.
Ridiculed him and made fun of him.
But I think what Murray did,
and then he was talking about
to death, though.
Well, look at the certain people that he's talking about. He's talking about Murray, the talk show host who ridiculed him, and made fun of him. He's talking about Thomas Wayne, who's cast aside society for class issues and neglecting a whole bunch of people while he's running for office. All the systems that have kind of let him down where he needed them most. He's really trying to drive a point on.
But you know something? All that stuff that happened with everyone, back in the Joker and emulating Joker, that kind of happened out of his control. He didn't mean for that to happen. He was just everything that he was doing was for him, and then his actions created a ripple effect in society where people started taking it as
of some kind of symbol.
But
that's not. But that has nothing to do. Right?
He didn't plan this out. It says, I'm going to create this so that people realize that what's going on. He's just in it for himself. Everything that he's doing is personal.
So you don't think that for a sequel to work, you need to do something for himself. And then people can rally behind that.
That's the thing.
Not because he's doing it for the people, but because they just see a symbol of what he's doing and they can rally behind that.
But I feel like no, because I feel like that is not the point.
That's not true to him.
No, it's not. It's like I feel like you could almost.
I think Joker stands for chaos, and for him, like, or in this movie at least, his actions, are a kind of a reflection. Like his actions lead to something like this social kind of like this what's his word, this social uprising, right? And That's not his intention. Even though he enjoys it. You know, when he was in the cop car, you know, they were telling him, "You see what you caused?" And he's like, "Yeah, isn't it beautiful?" He admires it, but he's not like, you know, saying that this is what he's looking for. And he's just you know, he just loves the chaos. Like the last scene of the movie, he stands on a police car, he's smiling with his blood.
Right. And I think
so he's basking in the chaos of Gotham because he just enjoys Gotham. It's not because they're uprising the rich or anything like that. It's just because it's craziness going on, and he's just enjoying all this mayhem.
Right, but his initial motivation wasn't for Gotham to burn.
It wasn't.
No, it was just he just has a particular agenda on getting people to pay. The chaos is just a byproduct of that, and he relishes in that. But his objective isn't primarily just chaos. You know what I mean? Like his ulterior motive is for retribution. The chaos just happens to, you know, happen because of that. It's you know, it's a culmination of events.
I mean,
and he just relishes in that.
I think you got a point, but I feel like a sequel to that, like with that as the idea going forward, is like, first, I don't know if you can build a whole movie on that without some kind of
another yeah, it
foil
would definitely be tough. It would definitely be difficult.
Like, even if you did like a Joker movie from his perspective against Batman or something, I just feel like this solo movie was good because it has its reasons, but you know it's gonna happen, right? You know it's gonna be this guy's downfall into the Joker, which is also why I said that would have worked better as a movie that wasn't called the Joker, because I think part of the element of like sometimes you want to go to a movie and be kind of like not shocked, but like, you know, maybe not so predictable. We knew it was gonna happen, right? At some point, we knew that this guy's gonna get some bad shit's gonna happen to him, and he's gonna turn into the Joker.
Yeah, well, the entire point of the movie,
But I'm saying,
the entire time you're watching the movie, you're just waiting to go.
You're waiting to be like, when's he gonna put on the clown stuff?
Actually, speaking of that, let me ask you guys a question. What were how did you guys react when he put on the full clown outfit, and then he was?
To me, that was my favorite part of the movie when he
walking down,
put on his mask. When he put on
I said this earlier. Those stairs are iconic. Like, I don't know why. Like, when he's dancing and relishing like in being the Joker, I love that. But
because he's someone who's very reserved and very kind of like to himself. So when you see him in that clown outfit walking down those stairs and he's having a good time, you can see he's just like he's free. Like, he doesn't have a care in the.
Well, I personally liked he went. There was just certain scenes, like images where he gets on the train and he's first of all he's running from the cops. Then he gets on, the train, and he pushes the one guy, which causes another guy to lose his life in the chaos that ensues, and but then you see him, like the scene where he's walking and the cops are running the other way because they're responding to the incident, and he's just that like smirk, and he's sick, and he's smoking. I was like, this is like, I wanted more of that. Like I wanted more of this kind of entertaining Joker than this wrenching, heartbreaking story of this poor guy, Arthur Fleck. So, I kind of came to see more of that kind of cool moments and the dancing. I like the way he was dancing the whole movie. Anytime he was dancing, it was kind of cool. Overall, like I said, from my basic take on it is that I think like it had a lot of things in it, and I don't think it focused on anything primarily. There was just a lot of different issues going on. I wish that it maybe focused a little bit on something or had maybe a message to say. I don't think it really. I think it just kind of just threw a bunch of things out there that are relative to people, so they are going to get reactions out of people. But it really didn't. One of the things that I heard people saying, "Oh, you'll talk about this movie forever after leaving the theater," and I kind of don't feel that way. I feel like I saw a pretty good movie that I'm not going to really think about too much. To me, down the line, it was visually stunning. I thought it was like, especially for being like a movie that's not like about special effects and stuff. It was shot well. It was acted phenomenally. Like, can't take anything away from Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Joker. Mm-hmm. That to me was like worthy of an Oscar. But like one of my friends said, the the acting and the cinematography was great, but the movie couldn't keep up with it. And I kind of feel I agree with that. I feel like
you know what's crazy? Like speaking of that, I felt. What do you guys feel about the ending? Because I thought the ending, the last scene where he's at the hospital was just a little bit kind of like too wacky. And I don't know like how I've ended it, but it just seemed kind of
the tone shifted with that.
I think I like the scene where he walks out of the room and is bloody, but then after that, the last couple of seconds before it fades to black, you have the doctors running after him and back and forth. I was just like,
I kind of enjoyed that though, because it
had
had
like
that
the Joker. That's why I was like,
it had that like kind of classic cartoony feel. Like for some reason, I needed that levity in a movie that was so dark the whole time. It was like there was sometimes people laughing in the movie theaters, and I think they weren't sure if they should have been laughing.
There were some funny scenes,
and then the short guy couldn't get out.
Oh, when he couldn't get out,
that was terrifying.
Everyone is just like,
that was very
shit. Like how?
I was like, so the fact that he had to ask him, like to open the door.
That was intense.
I'll say this about this movie: what I like about it the most is that it made you feel things and it makes you think. Like there's a lot of scenes that surprise you, that make you laugh. Like I'll say the two funny scenes is a scene where he's like, "Oh, I forgot to punch out," and he's punching the punch out clock till it falls. Or the scene where the detectives are talking to him and he runs into the
and he just walks right
the sliding door. Yeah,
and he just walks right into the glass.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, and so it also makes you. And
it reminded me a lot of the Joker from the cartoon.
I mean, I don't think I saw the Joker in the cartoon do stuff like that.
Well, he would. What I mean is, the Joker in the cartoon was very like, things like that would happen, or he would just laugh things off. Not that he was that way, but the scene in the hospital where he's dancing for the kids and the gun falls out.
Oh no, not that scene. I'm talking about the scene where his mom was in the hospital, and then after the detectives are talking to him, and he's like,
yeah, and he walks.
I gotta go, so he walks right into the door. I thought that it was kind of. I think it was probably the funniest thing he did in the whole movie, in my opinion. And that was by accident, because I felt like when he tried to be funny on purpose, he was never funny. But because he's
the whole joke. You wouldn't get
exactly,
it.
Right? But then he walked into the glass, and that was intentional.
You know what though?
That was hilarious.
I'm thinking about it though. You gotta be, because he got fired because he's pretty fucking stupid. You don't carry a gun into a children's hospital, so I don't care. Like he could have thrown that gun out. You know what I'm saying? The guy gives him a gun and he's like, I guess I gotta hold on to it. I gotta defend myself against some kids that you went after and chased. So to me, that's another one of those ideas where it's like, let's not try to feel so bad for this guy. He did some stupid shit.
Exactly, and I'm glad the movie didn't try to do that. But the movie makes you think. It makes you, it gives you a whole range of emotions. I think that's a pretty effective of a movie to do all of those things. Because even after,
I was gonna say my favorite emotion that it gave me was like the kind of once he just lost it and it was kind of scary, like unhinged. That's when I really I enjoyed it. I think the most, because I really genuinely felt some fear of how what is he gonna do.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, because it's like, okay,
I wanted more of that.
It's predictable. That's what it is. It's unpredictable. Because the whole time I'm watching the movie, I remember seeing Zazie Beetz, and I'm like, man, is this like a last minute thing? Like, they're just kind of putting her in certain places. It's kind of weird. And I'm like, all of a sudden gets this love interest.
Felt thrown.
Because I'm like, this guy is so crazy, but yeah, he's still able to bag. Well, I would say bag, but he's able to court a woman or have a woman interested in him. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. But then when they kind of pulled the wheel, the veil over it, and they saw that he that was all in his mind. I was like, that was brilliant, because it did seem kind of weird, like when his mom was in the hospital and she's sitting right next to him. And I'm like, man, are they even that close to even doing this?
And yeah, I get that, but I also felt like that was thrown in there. Like, I don't know, like her character really served. Like, I guess it was like, okay, this is the moment.
There's no purpose, but this is showcase that this guy's unhinged. Because when she was in the, I think even though they got a,
but they didn't even do anything with it either. That's what I mean. Like, for instance, we don't know what he did with her, and not that I'm saying we need to know, but like. The fact that we don't know,
but look at the way she reacted to him when she saw him. She's like,
I get it.
Aren't you the guy that lives down the hall? You live down the hall, right? What are you doing here?
I get it.
She looked,
but
she spoke to him like she didn't know him. Like,
right, because she didn't. Because
exactly.
they just had that one moment meeting. The rest was in his head. I get that, but then they didn't do anything else with it. So like he's in the apartment. Like so they purposely, obviously they were like, we're gonna leave this up to the person watching it to determine whether he killed her or not. Which I don't know, right? But the fact, like, and I don't feel like I feel like it didn't leave me thinking like, I'm almost more like instead of me figuring out whether he killed her or not, I'm more wondering why they didn't show me what he did. That's what I'm kind of feeling from that. I'm more like why introduce this character with and then have no kind of conclusion, even though she's not even that important. She's just a figure. I don't know.
But I think that kind of adds to like the allure of the Joker. Because,
but I feel that's forced allure.
It's all about kind of like chaos. Like the movie doesn't have like one grand message. It has like all these little messages that you can kind of pick up.
Yeah, but if you want to talk about that, then
but if he's so chaotic, they could just
show him killing those other two guys.
If it was so chaotic and stuff,
the other one guy, not the girl.
To me, yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with Justin. Like if he's this chaos thing, why not show us that? And especially because that was the point when he's flipping anyway. But no, please, my daughter's next. Can you leave? And then it just goes to the next scene. Or he's back at his apartment. So okay, did he just leave, or did he do something?
Right. Like, how did he get her? Like, how did she get him out?
Like at least show like Did you say
good night, guys? Did she say?
I think when you don't show somebody something in a movie, if it's
I think it depends on what it is, though.
It depends. No, but if it's,
do you feel like it's not really fair to pick and choose the details? If you're either gonna show details or no details.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're gonna leave, or at least leave it to a clearer interpretation of like at least if the world sets.
That scene would have been better. That scene would have been better if it shows him, if it ends with him sitting on the couch and then you see a gun fall out of it.
Or just don't even show him going in there at all. Like I like to me at that point.
Then how can you showcase that she's not really there? Because her reaction was what made you realize that this guy was just hallucinating the whole time.
Okay.
Without that scene, you can't connect that because then
but it doesn't matter anyway.
I don't think so because in that scene, her reaction and the way that she says, like, oh, you live down the hall. She realizes that he is not well, and he is in this room where he shouldn't be, and she wants him to go. That's not a delusion. That's like a legit, I think that's outside.
Or as dumb as the movie is,
and they needed that scene.
It takes it from perspective of up until that point, it was all a figment of his imagination. And the only way you can tell that is if you have that.
Wait a minute.
If that scene's not there,
that scene is that's a real moment where he's she sees him for who he is, and we see him for the delusional person that he is, and they could have just if he's violent and aggressive and crazy, to do something violent and aggressive and crazy.
Or what if this is just his imagination of him thinking this is how she would react if he went in there? And
see,
if that's the case, maybe
no, because you can't.
I know we have
had a job,
and it's true. But certain things have to be kind of solidified.
No, they don't. When you don't have a reliable narrator like he is, right. You don't. Mm-hmm. So to me, even if let's say like we don't know what is true or what's not.
So the whole thing could be a dream.
It could. You're right.
That's what I'm saying.
But at least from a film goer,
if we are the jury, we need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
But like
if everything is a figment of his imagination, who's to say what's real?
But let's say
like they want you to think about certain things. So I'm not disagreeing with you guys that maybe they showed him doing something to her or show the outcome of that situation. But I feel like this movie likes to plan certain things so that it makes you think. It makes you wonder. Like,
But this is the thing. I feel like I agree. I just, that wondering part is like, you go to be, it was, that part literally was like, what, you ever heard of negative edging? Like the thing they say when you jerk off until you get really close to like busting a nut and then you just don't. Mm-hmm. Like, and then you just do that, and it's supposed to do something for your brain. I don't know. But anyway, that's exactly what that movie did to me at that point. It was like it built up something between these two characters, some kind of thing that didn't exist. But whether it existed or not, to me, it just had no conclusion. It had no conclusion a conclusion that I'm left to figure out, to put together myself in my head with no other surrounding facts, unless maybe I have to see the movie 100 times to figure out something. But
I think that scene did its job.
I don't know. To me, it didn't inform me. It informed me, okay, that maybe this guy is a lot crazier than I think. But in terms of having her as a character and being important, like there were so many other characters you could have done that with, his mother or something else, but they chose this character, this cute girl that we were supposed to believe romance and stuff, and then they made it something that might have not happened, and then we just like, okay, so let's just move on. Who cares what happens to her? Let's just move on.
Now you know for sure the guy's crazy. He's certified.
I already knew he was crazy.
Yeah, but it just adds more to it.
But really, how much more crazy do you need to add to this character? We knew he killed people. We knew like hallucinations and stuff. Like I don't know.
Yeah, people kill movies. Here's the thing: in movies, people get killed all the time. In movies, nothing. So having that scene there where you're thinking that she's there, I mean,
it's worse than nothing.
Like the movie.
The frustration. No, the frustration is because he kills 3 people on the train. He kills 1 guy in his apartment. And he goes after this, so why not just kill her too?
He didn't kill the other.
Or my thing is like
he's very selective in who he chooses.
But
okay, he wants to, but he's killing certain people. So the other guy, the short guy, he let him. From what we see,
right? But what he said to the short guy was, he said, "I'm going to let you go because you were nice to me." That girl, you don't know if she was nice to him or not.
I would say. I mean,
that's true.
We can tell. We can tell. We won't get no antagon. We don't see anything she's done that would get on his bad side.
So then why is he in there?
Right. Exactly.
Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. To me, there's like everything is in his mind. He ran into like I don't understand him just being there. Like especially if they weren't gonna do anything with it, then I'm just like, so he didn't even know he just. In her apartment,
he's probably thinking about all the stuff he thought about in his head.
Something a crazy person would just show up.
If he's thinking about her being at the hospital, her being at the comedy show,
what's funny? Maybe that was a pun at Amber Geiger. You don't know who that is? Okay.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Amber Geiger is the cop that went into the apartment of the guy and shot and killed the guy in his own apartment when she thought it was hers.
Yeah, we know. But wait. Oh, and Steve didn't know who that was. But
I know who that is.
You just said you didn't know who that was.
I didn't say I didn't know who that was. I said I know who that is.
Oh.
All right. Well, anyway, let's not. We're gonna just agree to disagree about this point.
All right, Justin. What's your final thoughts about the whole thing? About the whole entire movie?
Damn,
I said my part already.
I still give it a 9 out of 10. He did an amazing job. It was a hell of a performance. I think the ending was a bit of a letdown, but otherwise the movie was fantastic.
Steve, what's your 2 cents?
I think I said it already. I mean, I think the movie is good. Like I said, it's a gorgeous movie. I think it's fantastically shot. So for people who are not into comic book movies but are just like cinephiles, they're probably gonna have a ball with it because they're just gonna look at how well this is shot. Look at this, a lot of stuff that I probably didn't pick up on. But even for me, who's not like a super cinephile, I appreciated a lot of the shots and some of the decisions they made with Joker's dancing, his personality, and certain things they did in the movie. Like I said before, the movie makes you feel a lot. It makes you think. It makes you wonder. And I kind of like that. It's giving us a conversation. Like, look at us. We're having these conversations about the movie, and this could be something. This could be
have a conversation about any movie.
That's true, but I feel like
we can have conversations about movies aside from this.
We gotta watch a really bad movie to have a conversation on.
But I do like a lot of the messages that. Pray, and I feel like it's one of those movies where you may have to watch it a second time. Like personally, it's not a movie that I'll probably watch over and over again, but I'll watch it a second time to see if there's any things that I didn't pick up on. That's probably there.
Okay, my opinion of the movie is a little less favorable. I'm gonna bring it down to 7. I feel like it's a comic book movie. I don't care what anybody says. It's a comic book movie.
It's comic book. It doesn't feel like it.
It's a comic. When it really did feel like a comic book movie is when they brought into the whole Bruce Wayne aspect of it, when his parents got killed and all that. Then I felt like, and they did the pearl breaking necklace part, which is like
that was a straight shot.
That took me out of it into like, oh, this, I didn't realize we were gonna have that much kind of Batman origin in this movie. But okay, that was there you go. But
well, not to cut you off, but I remember initially watching the movie when the possible connection between Bruce and Joker. Mm-hmm. I thought that the movie was gonna have Joker kill Batman's parents. I'm like, is that we're gonna? I thought that was the angle.
Which they
Joker never killed Batman's parents.
He did in the '89 movie.
In the '89 movie,
really?
So I thought they were going to try to go for that again.
Just the whatever.
I'm glad they went with like some random dude who saw them. Like I think it was much better narratively, but I thought that's what they were trying to aim for. So
yeah, and I think the whole cool thing is like, oh, it was caused by the Joker, though. Guess what? Haha. But yeah, like I said, it was great. The cinematography was fantastic. Soundtrack was great. I just felt like there was points in the movie where I was kind of like, I was a little bored. And then it picked itself. Like then there was moments of real excitement. I mean, this is how I would say the two people that I went to see the movie with, one of them went to sleep, and the other one went to sleep because he had too much alcohol. So I left the movie seeing it with two people and couldn't really talk about it because they slept through parts of it. And so, not that I'm not saying that's common that people slept through it, but there was some. It was, and not that it needed to be action packed either, but I wasn't intrigued like I thought I would be. I wasn't mentally stimulated on the same level, I think. But this is not to say it wasn't good. It's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie. So
yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. Just to go see it and then to say you don't like it, but I think you should see it. And this is not like a movie where you have to avoid. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. I think we did. We really got into it. We an hour and 10 minutes. I think this was a good return to maybe form. I don't know.
I think so. I think it's a good warm up.
Justin here? Still here?
Justin,
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
I can't listen anymore.
No. Sometimes you go like real quiet, and I'm like, is he still here? Okay, so yeah, this was good. I want to do for our, next time we talk about a movie.
Oh, I want to ask you something. I forgot what point it was in the movie, but you started to hear. I'm sure it's just me, but I started to hear some music, and the music started to sound very similar to Ennio Morricone.
I would have to. I love Morricone, so if I would have to.
It sounded like The Duel. When you had Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it started to sound like that, but it wasn't. It was like I think it was a scene where he's either on the train, not when he's getting his ass kicked. I think it was a scene where he's running from the cops.
Yeah,
I think it was that whole.
I gotta rewatch it to be sure, but I'll keep that in mind next time I take a look at it because I love Morricone.
I know.
So in fact, the song you're talking about is Il Triello, but.
Yeah, there's a certain point I was kind of I was kind of dozing off, not dozing off, but it wasn't really super.
They were,
in the beginning, but once he snapped, I was pretty well awake.
Part of my dumb comic book brain, which is why I kind of wanted it to not be a Joker movie, which is because there was that expectation of more Joker-ish stuff. So I already had a preconceived notion of what I wanted to see in the movie.
What you expect from the Joker.
Right. This is why I said
we didn't do our comparisons. Hold on, before you go, we didn't do our comparisons.
Oh yeah, let's do our comparisons to the other Jokers real quick.
All right. So let's start with.
Are we doing a ranking or just a comparison?
Well, I mean,
I think what we should do is we should pick a category that we can compare between the two and just move from category to category. Like for example, who had the better laugh?
I got you. So let's start with.
I think we should just do overall, like what our opinions are overall. Cause I feel like we start doing categories. We can go to like wardrobe.
Yeah, that's true.
That. But Justin, what did you like about compared to the other Jokers that we know cinematically? What did you like about this Joker?
I liked how his style was very different. Where the other Jokers always had the same kind of color theme pattern. His pattern was a bit different, which was more of a unique take on his particular Joker. He was a bit more. I don't want to say more animated. I think Heath Ledger's was really good, in terms of like body movements, expressions, the kind of flair that he presents. I think his laugh was entirely unique, which is good.
Let's say we're gonna go with let's go with realistic Jokers in movies, because then if we get too like into a cartoon. So, and let's just cut out the 1966 one.
I think what's the Batman that we used to watch growing up?
You mean the cartoon? The cartoon? I mean the animated series?
Batman the animated. That Mark Hamill was a Joker.
But I want to take that out only because I think like a realistic portrayal of a character is like, because then I could throw in the Lego Batman Joker. So it's like,
go for it. Yeah,
but I don't want to. No, because I think the things I'm like looking forward to is looking at is actor portrayal of it.
Okay, all right. So we'll keep it real then.
The actor portrayal of them. So like, let's compare. Like, for the most part, we're gonna compare 1989 Joker. Jack Nicholson,
Heath Ledger,
Jared Leto. And
I think, all right, I don't know if anybody feels strong about Jared Leto, but if no one feels strong about him, we could just, because I think he should be just removed.
But he's so bad. I feel like it's so you gotta throw that.
You know what it is? I think he
even if a decent small,
Joker.
I don't
even because the way they used him.
You know what? Fine, we should include him, but we'll use him as like the bottom. Like if there was like a top and a bottom, he's like that's the bottom.
I think here's the thing with me, like I think Heath Ledger's Joker made such a cultural impact, and Jared Leto didn't. And I think that's the biggest difference, and that's why I think people always go straight. I'm saying because think about it. Heath Ledger, he pretty much made The Dark Knight, and after that, people just was attached to kind of like his Joker, and now we have this Joker who may be possibly another iconic Joker for this generation, because I think it's been like 10 years.
I don't think so.
The Dark Knight.
I don't think so either. I still think after this, people are still gonna be talking about Heath Ledger.
I don't actually. That's a good point about the impact. I feel I don't know how much this Joker's really gonna impact people.
I mean, the
reviews is maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you just can't do what Heath Ledger.
I mean, I'll say with my comparison with both these Jokers, I almost think that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is so unhinged. Like he's more creepier than any Joker I've seen in live action.
Because creepier, yeah.
I think it's creepier. Because I think the one in Dark Knight, compared to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, he's like he has more of a sensibility to himself. He has better clothes. And he's kind of an enigma.
Wait, who has more sensibility?
I think compared to Joaquin Phoenix, the Joker in the Dark Knight.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
This is the same guy. If you're comparing both of them, I would say Joaquin Phoenix is more. I think Joaquin Phoenix is more crazy. He's compared to Joaquin Knight. Not saying just in general, but compared to Joaquin Knight. Compared to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker,
we're gonna completely disregard the fact that the Joker in the Dark Knight blew up a hospital.
Yeah, because he wants chaos. He's like he said that he wants to see the city burn. Like he kind of had like some kind of reasoning.
I mean, besides the only thing about that Joker that I don't like is that he was like God. He just couldn't fail.
Exactly. That's
that's not nothing about the character.
It's so weird. He's so mysterious that you just don't know. Like,
but no, it's more like when he had the gun pointed to his head and then and said pull the trigger and he he could have died there. You know what I mean?
He doesn't care.
But I wouldn't say sensible. Like especially from.
I mean, he's more. He seems more sensible compared to Joaquin Phoenix. I'm not saying that he's a sensible character because obviously he's not. But compared to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is so like out there and he's so much more scarier.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think the Joker in the Dark Knight, in my opinion, is
to me was maybe more
scarier because much more unhinged. Mainly because he was definitely more calculated. He was definitely more You know, he literally spared no expense in getting his objective.
Think about the scene. He
put a cell phone bomb in a guy in prison and said, "I want my phone call," and then blew him up.
I'll tell you this. Think about the scene, right? You guys mentioned that he blew up a hospital, right?
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Fly a hospital full of people.
But
think about that scene when he blew up the hospital. He's walking in a nurse's skirt, like in drag. And then, he's like, kind of walking. So he's blowing up a hospital, but at the same time, you're kind of laughing at him. He's unhinged. But I'm saying, like, that scene, it's kind of
you're
like,
laughing at him, but it's like insane.
But it's insane, but it's also kind of funny too, because it's like kind of
funny.
But whether it's funny or not doesn't mean whether
it's like that is so.
There's no scene where it's like you're just laughing at him, like for laughing at him. He's
but
like,
that's not unhinged.
He just shot a guy in the head, and I also helps too that this movie is rated R, but so it showed more violence.
But that's not unhinged. Unhinged is like when you're like literally a psycho. So to me, like, you could see this guy's descent into kind of being unhinged or whatever and being a little crazy. But the other Joker literally, to prove a point, put 2 bombs on 2 boats and let the other people blow each other up to prove a point.
Right.
That to me,
I'll say this. I feel like this movie makes the Joker scarier than the one in Dark Knight.
I don't know.
All right, let me. Well, I'll throw
I wouldn't say scary.
Not even like comparing, like their actions.
The scene where Heath Ledger walks into the game meeting and then the guy gets up to confront him and he goes, "I'm going to make this pencil disappear."
That was funny. I was like, that was a good scene. I love that scene.
But when he did that,
I think it was like kind of.
But when he did that, and minus the rating, I said, "Holy shit!"
Right.
That was fucking scary. Now,
it's like,
to me,
who would have like? That's crazy.
Okay. This is the difference. I think we're getting at too. One is a very hyper realistic portrayal of what a Joker would be like, and the other one is a very comic book portrayal of a somewhat realistic Joker.
Dark Knight initially had like the title of being the
most gritty, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But Joker is so real and gritty that it makes that look like an MCU movie.
Right? You're right. It does. This new portrayal of the Joker is much more realistic, but in that realism, to me, kind of takes away from the character being this
super chaotic.
Yeah, he wasn't right. I felt that even the the Jack Nicholson one to me had more chaotic. He was more of a gangster, but like he still felt like some of his things were crazy. Like speaking of laughs, I forgot about one of the best laughs in The Dark Knight is when Batman tosses the Joker off the thing.
Right, and he's
laughing. No, but on the way down before he even catches him, he's like, "Why?" He's just laughing the whole time.
Right,
and that to me is a funny laugh. Like if you go back and watch how he laughs when he gets thrown off.
Yeah, no, that is good.
And just like the impact of that end scene too about that Joker when he says, "You just couldn't let me die," and this is what happens when an immovable object meets. Like that is not. I'm not saying I wanted that out of this Joker, but I expected some kind of impact that whole thing had such a strong impact on me that this movie didn't quite have. And that movie had a lot less Joker. It wasn't even about Joker, really. It was just...
That's true. I mean, what, too? Like you said, like you mentioned, like before, when we had a text message, The Dark Knight has a lot more moving parts.
This it does.
So you can kind of get away with that a little bit.
But that's what I mean, though, in terms of...
a one-man show.
But that's what I also mean in terms of, like, how this movie couldn't keep up with what it had.
You know what? That's actually a good point. Now that I think about it, the one main difference between The Dark Knight and this movie is, and I think maybe this has to do with part of why we feel the way we do about this Joker. Not discrediting the rest of the stuff we talked about, but the entire movie is focused on him. The Dark Knight is split between Batman.
It's not, yeah.
It's split between the different arcs that each characters have.
Okay.
Gordon, whereas this is focused entirely on one.
And I'll say this too. I guess what that also does is, and maybe it's just me, but that Joker, I didn't really care. I wanted that Joker to lose or whatever, but what his actions did happen to people that I cared about. So this movie, I didn't care about anybody.
You don't know
I was supposed to care about Arthur Fleck. Right, but I knew he was going to be a Joker, but I didn't... Right, exactly. So, like, for instance, the Zazie Beetz turning out to be fake, I don't give a shit. So I don't, I kind of want to see what happened to her because you introduced me and tried to make me care, but then you took that away from me and didn't show me anything. But literally, like the three guys, everybody he killed in the movie, I didn't care.
Right, they were like expendable.
And I'm not saying like everybody he killed in the Dark Knight, I cared about, but that was the tension kind of in the movie.
The tension in that movie was when he had Rachel and Two-Face.
Harvey Dent.
Yeah, or just the different moments in the movie.
But like I said,
there was a build-up.
Like we mentioned before, there's two different kind of movies though, because like I said, because they have a lot more. They can do a lot more things. This is kind of like
the other thing,
just like a character, like kind of like a character.
It's a character study, but it also
the other thing too is in the Dark Knight there was that inevitable clash of the Joker meeting the Dark Knight. In this, there is no inevitable clash of the Joker meeting the Dark Knight, just the Joker meeting himself
or anybody. To me, that's the other thing I'll say. I can understand it's a character study, but to me, I didn't get anything. Like I didn't really end up caring about any other character or any characters in general. Like I knew this guy was going to be the Joker, and that at some point, like unless they killed him, that he was going to be the Joker at the end. So I got that, but I didn't.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The only character I kind of cared about that he killed was Robert De Niro.
And even that was like
that was about it. And the only reason why I cared was because I knew it was Robert De Niro.
Right, and he was a jerk anyway, and maybe I wasn't supposed to care about him or whatever, but like, I like literally there was nothing. I think that's my disconnect.
That offered any kind of like emotional.
I think that's my disconnect with the movie. I didn't like Arthur's story was so sad and depressing that okay, I'm supposed to feel bad for him, kind of, but then after a while I didn't, and then. And after that, I had nobody to care about in the movie. So at that point,
maybe that's the point of the movie. It's supposed to have you kind of involved with Joker, and as time goes on,
that is the point.
The whole point from him as a viewer.
Well, the whole point is that it takes you through his whole emotional roller coaster and leading to the Joker. But what Sterling is saying is, when you have no one to really kind of care about, even him in the movie, you're like, all right, well.
But I think that's it. I think that's maybe that could be something done on purpose, meaning that they know there's nobody who's likable or somebody you care about. Okay, as time goes on, like all right, these you kind of like move away from the Joker, and you kind of like it's a way for the viewer,
but to not me, to care about. But you still need something to connect to.
You know what? I think it would have been better if they extended the movie and made him do things that were extremely, extremely like psychotic and much more dark and devious. Because this way,
I could have been like,
you would see his progression going from.
And then I could care about that, right? And then I could at least care about that, because that's what I feel like. I feel like at some point the movie lost me with about whatever it's trying to tell me, which I don't know what it's really trying to show me. Maybe but like Justin said, once he didn't do like I started to pick up when he started being the Joker and walking through, and I started to give a crap again, and then the movie ended. And
so you guys tell me that if he was doing more Joker stuff, that would
probably, like for example, he started off doing like he killed the three guys, and I was like, all right, here's where it starts.
So let me ask you a question. All right, let me pose this question to you guys. When does it become like a good storyline? All right, so what I'm trying to say is when does it stop becoming like violence for the sake of violence? Because I think the issue is that he did these things for certain reasons, as we see. Like he killed the guy because he made fun of him, and then he said that his last thing to Robert De Niro was, "This is what happens when you push."
I thought we were going to see like a second half of the movie at that point.
I knew it was running kind of long at that point.
It was, but I felt like after he shot Robert De Niro and he just kind of sat, like when he shoots Robert De Niro and then he sits there.
See, this is what
he's still talking. Steve, I'm like, that's some shit the Joker would do.
Steve,
that's crazy as shit.
What happened to me is in the movie, there was a point where I was kind of like saying, okay, the end is coming. Like I said, the end of this movie is coming at some point, and instead of me not like a lot of times when I'm seeing a really good movie, I don't want it to end, right? So this movie, not that I didn't want it to end or whatever, like, but there was a point where I was kind of like, oh, this is the climax when he was being introduced on the stage, and then they had that thing, and I was already at the point where I was like, because I didn't know what I was connecting to in the movie anymore. That's how I feel. Like I didn't like. I didn't connect to the Joker character anymore. Because I knew, like, in my opinion, I just knew nothing. I didn't know what was going to happen to him, and I almost didn't care. I didn't care if he lived and if he died. You know, so even if he was crazy, like, and this is kind of maybe silly and barbaric, but if he was doing crazy kind of cool shit at some point, then maybe I would at least said, "Oh man, damn, like they got him."
Right, or at least make you feel bad about the things he's doing.
Yeah, there was nothing. I felt nothing.
It just kind of leaves you hanging. And you're just like, well, you know.
I mean,
finish the journey.
Do you think that in this society, with our where our movies are, do you feel like they're maybe afraid to have people have him go super violent on? I mean, he did a lot of violent things, but have like just grotesque violence keep happening, and then you're supposed to like look at him as a kind of a protagonist.
Okay.
Do you think that maybe they purposely didn't do that so that, you know, you're just not like watching a guy just go kill people one after another?
But if he's
if that was the case, they wouldn't have had the whole city behind this guy.
If he's a protagonist, then he can...
No, I'm saying that in the movie, of course, it makes sense. I mean, in the movie, they, you know, you saw why those people...
movies in general,
I'm talking about like outside of the movie. That's not in the movie universe, but I'm talking about outside the movie. But I'm talking about, like, you know, in terms of like production. Do you think they purposely didn't show that because they didn't want, you know, people to...
No, I think this was from what I know, this movie was very not interfered with. So I think whatever they showed was exactly what they wanted to show. I don't think it was a reaction to anything either. I think literally, like, because I just remember the last movie I saw was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And now I'm not going to ruin it for you guys if you didn't see it yet. But there's a scene. It's Quentin Tarantino. So you know there's going to be like an insane scene at some point. And a lot of the rhetoric in the movie, like, that was going behind the movie was like sexist and stuff. And there's a real violent scene of a protagonist being like, so I feel like, and that was a weird movie because that movie's kind of the exact opposite of this to me in terms of it. A lot of it was kind of, it was a love letter to the 60s, but a lot of it, like, if you don't know a lot about that, it can be kind of boring. And then but even in that boredom, I cared a lot about these characters. And it made it so when all stuff happens at the end, I left the movie at least, like, giving a fuck. I left this movie entertained, but, like, not, I don't know. Just not how
if a movie doesn't make you care about the characters, whether they're the main character or someone else involved in an arc, is it really a good movie?
Well, that's a good question.
I think it depends.
Because if the whole point of a movie is that you care about the entire...
Well, it depends.
You kind of care about the characters.
I think different movies have different goals.
I think it depends. Because in this movie, even though there was no one else to really, like, cheer for or someone to kind of relate to, I feel like, you know, maybe that was their intentions to kind of have the viewer... some viewers withdraw from, you know, the things that was going on. You know what I mean?
Well, I think we could go on for long.
But I feel like
I'm gonna. All right, let's just end this right now. Go see the movie. It's good. Argument. Agree with us.
Yeah, go see the movie after we ruined it.
Oh yeah, we're not spoilers. That's true. It's rated R. This podcast has spoilers. We announced that, but whatever.
I think at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, at this point, I'm sure you've probably seen the movie, so whatever.
Joker in theaters.
All right, boys, let's sign off. This is Sterling, and who else we got? And
Justin. Yep.
This is the worst sign off ever. All right, we're out of here.
8BG out.
Out.